one place where you're going to find interesting conversations around learning, education, and so much more. It is the Learning Insights podcast. And that is why we're back with another episode. My name is Joanna and I'm the host. And today I'm not alone. Right now, I'm just going to be introducing everyone here today. First, we have, of course, Ope.
So nice to be here.
Why are you clapping?
Shouldn't I clap? No one clap.
Then, okay. Then we have Grace.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here today.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Next, we have Emmanuel.
It's good to be here. Nice to be here.
So you guys, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How's everybody? I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How are you guys?
Which one of us?
Anybody?
I'm good though. I'm all right. I'm doing well.
Today it's been great.
Not even just looking
You
at
don't sound
It's been
like
great.
you're sounding different. You don't sound like it's been a great day.
It's been great.
So today we're going to be talking about something very interesting. They all know. But do you know? So today we're going to be talking about public universities and private universities. Now, it's been like an age-long debate, private or public. Some people think they are better than others.
Yeah.
Some people think others are not well, they are not well equipped by the time they graduate. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And first of all, I want to start with the fact that why is it that public university students and even, some private universities, because every school has their, rules and regulations, they sometimes feel like private university students, they call it a glorified secondary school. Most private universities. And why is that? Why do you guys think so?
Think of the rules now.
But there are rules in public university.
That's the private university is a glorified secondary school.
Why?
Let's take for an example. I know a private university. I don't want to mention.
Mention the name.
Just put a disclaimer. No
Yeah,
offense.
I don't want to mention names.
Okay, go ahead.
They basically treat those students there like secondary school students. It just takes me back to when I was in the boarding house. The fact that you have to take exits to go out, you cannot cook, you cannot do, your life is just limited. Like you don't get to,
Okay, how?
You don't pass through the school and the school pass through you. You are just there.
No, it's
How?
not fast food,
Like
Give
a
us
secondary
examples. Give us
student.
examples.
It's either if you are not here, you'll be expelled. If you are not there, it's just too much.
So are you
Too
saying
much-
there's no freedom in private universities?
Not really. Not really, at
Hmm.
all.
I don't know. I felt that way initially. I went to private school.
Yeah.
So I felt that way initially. But looking back now, I realized that there was that form of structure, which like when you leave school, is something you kind of crave like as an adult. Because as an adult now, you have to now determine where you're going to be at so time. But if you are in a place where that's already predetermined for you, so that means you're not going to be thinking about a lot about so many things. Like now if you go to a public school, you have to think of how to get a house, how to get this, how to...
For some public schools, they provide accommodation.
I agree, but even to get that
Aside that, what's the
accommodation...
quality of the accommodation provided?
That's not even another thing. But even some private schools, you could also say like the quality is not so good. Yeah, so I think that structure it's helpful in its own way. For some people, it feels like if you're coming from a place where you usually go out at your own time and do everything by yourself, then it might feel like it will be a bondage for you. But for some people, it might be like what they need to focus on other things. That's how I see it.
Mr. Emmanuel, what do you have to say? You're quiet.
Well, so I wouldn't say it's glorified per se, because everybody has their perception about things, and there's so many factors when you are considering private or public, right? So for some parents, they might say, or maybe because of how the child is being brought up, right? And environment is very key. There was a time we had like a conversation about, child introduction to technology and all of that, how it helps the child and all of that. So I think for the parent, it's more about what environment they are comfortable with for their kids, right? So if they are comfortable with, going to a public school, right, and seeing all the rudiments and everything about it, then it's fine. But if it's not and it's something they can afford, why not?
So that means you're sounding diplomatic. Like, I'm not here, I'm not there.
No, I'm not sounding diplomatic, right? For me personally, I would want my child to go to a private university, right? Because I see the perks behind it, right? I like good environment.
Okay.
I like that my child is brought up in a good environment. Right? So I wouldn't want my child to go to public school.
Why?
And suffer all the hassles that...
What's this suffer? You people are just telling us things, but you're not giving us the details.
I didn't go to a public university, right? I went to a federal, but it's still public, right? So, but there's a level to it. So, and I saw all the things that came with it, right? And I wouldn't want my child to do the same.
Like the strike.
Not even strike, so
Not
strike
even
is
strike.
another game, like another game on its own, right? But just talking about, okay, let me give an instance, a practical instance,
Thank you.
So
yes.
When I had my first class in 100 level, I remember vividly, it was a very big hall that could take, let's say, a 1,000 capacity, right? But you can imagine having like over 3,000 people, 3,000 children. And they say classes by like 8 o'clock in the morning. And everybody's there by like 7 or even 6. And there's like a stampede, right? So me that I'll probably come by like 8:30 or so.
Nothing for you. Nothing for you.
Exactly. There's nothing for me.
You have to be standing outside.
Standing outside or at the back. So everywhere's crowded. There's a small board. You can't even see anything. So all of that compared to a private university where it's more or less like one-to-one with the lecturer. So it's more decent.
But you know what's funny? Like, I think it's just, of recent, a lot of things in Nigeria have, they are not as good as they were before. They are getting better. We are on the way there, but they are not as good. Yes, I believe in my country. Okay. So, if you look at it, most of our parents, think about it. Did your parents attend private universities?
Definitely not.
No, they did not.
They all attended public universities, and it's not only because of the price of education. They had access. Things were much better. I mean, some of them back then, dollar was 1 naira to $1. If you can take me back, So I think it's just a thing of, over time maintenance, which is a culture that we don't really have here. If we had maintained certain standards, some of all these debates won't be ongoing.
So like I said, there are so many factors to consider. Right? For instance, now, population right now is not population then. Right now, population is a lot.
True.
It's a lot. True. And would you now say, because you've increased or you've doubled, right? You won't allow children to go to school.
But don't you think that should be handled? Isn't there like a population control,
in this country?
No, I mean like within the school, like when you're giving admissions, you know what is on ground, because even in private universities, you can have such issues. Let me not mention the school, but there's this school that my sister attends, a private school, one of the best in Nigeria. If you're calling the top 3, is one of them that ideally you'd want to go to.
Those that we see.
And then,
Those that we see.
And then they had this issue. Like normally there's always this thing of like, she has to stay up to like 4 a.m. so that she can get her room when everywhere, is quiet and all of that. And then there was like they got to school and there was no space. Like, how do you let that happen? How do you maybe if you're bringing 700, you're admitting 700 students, there should be space for 700 people, not 500. So I think like some of those issues or some of the issues are both public and private.
True. But
it's the management that should, you said?
I said, that's actually true. But one has more wahala.
Me too.
I think for private school, when it comes to structure and finances, it's solely on the sponsors or the owner of the institution. So at times the owner might not have that capacity to actually build enough structures. And because so many things are dependent on him, he's looking for how to also gain from
But I feel like that's when you're starting up. Most private schools, I don't think there are a lot of private schools that pay below 1 million per semester.
Currently, no.
So
no.
like all that money, where is it going to?
I know a
For
private
semester.
school that up to now they don't have structures. I know.
Then what are they doing?
Yes, they don't really have structures. I don't know. It's
This is my belief. This is my belief. So my belief is that one of the reasons why public and private schools like started to emerge, like around the 2000s and up till now, is
Public or private?
private.
Okay.
So one of my belief is that is to help to, since there's a lack of quality in most public schools, my belief is that private schools came to kind of curb that. Now, in terms of population, I don't think private schools will have the capacity to take in most of the populations in Nigeria. I think that's just the honest truth.
Yeah.
But for public schools, they obviously have to take in more
Yeah,
people.
they're taking more. Yeah.
I remember the time I went to Futa to, what did I even go? I think I went for a football match. I was still in secondary school.
Most traveled.
Yes, no. It wasn't far. I schooled in Akure.
Oh.
So I went to Futa and the place was massive. Some people that have been to Unilag, your place, another place is like, they'll say that this place is massive. It's almost like a city and things like that. Obviously, those kind of places should take in more people. But the problem now is that for public schools now, there's poor maintenance, first off, for the things that are on ground.
Yeah.
But for private schools, there's most likely going to be good maintenance and things like that. But in terms of taking in those number of people, I don't think private schools are built or meant for that. My own honest opinion.
No, I think that's actually valid because you start a private school with a goal in mind, like there's a population in mind, and you cannot take the number. You cannot take the number. let me just end there. Most private schools cannot take the same number that public schools.
No, it's not possible.
Take definitely.
It's not possible. It will be madness. It's a madness because I've seen my school now. We went on a break, but I stayed back, and some people were allowed to use our hostels from outside. When I tell you I cannot recognize the place because of the population, a lot of people came. The place looks like Lagos. And I've been in Lagos for I've not spent up to a year in Lagos, but it was really serious. So for population, they can't handle it.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual educational experience. What was that like? I want to hear from all of you. What was it like for you when you went to school? Emmanuel, I feel like your story is interesting. The way you said the struggles. I want to hear.
So for me, I think so the first year, interestingly, right? The first year, I wasn't staying on campus. I was staying off campus. Right?
Big boys.
So when I mean off campus, I mean because my house was really close to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I schooled in Unilag, right? University of Lagos. Greatest Akokite. So, as they say, University of First Choice. Right?
First choice.
Yeah, so for the first year, I wasn't in campus, right? So I was coming from home, and it was a bit challenging because we'll have 8 a.m. classes, 7:30 classes like that, and commuting from home to school was very, very challenging, right?
Yeah.
So, coupled with the fact that when you are doing a lot of registration because of the number of students and population,
registration in 100
even getting admission in school, right? I would say of recent, it's not everywhere, but ideally it shouldn't be, right? Because in public/federal schools, right? If you don't get even when you get merit, even when you get your admission on merit, right? Something might still happen that you might not get the admission.
Yeah.
Right. So it's now becoming a new normal where until you know somebody before you can know somebody before you can get the admission that you want. Right. And we see that a lot.
That's
happening.
admission for the course you want or admission in
for
general.
the course you want, right? Especially in federal or public universities, right? Give a practical instance, medicine. Medicine is a very high end course,
I can imagine.
That has cutoff of 80 to 90%, right? So 100. But you still see people getting about that, and at the end of the day, they don't get
They
it.
don't
Then
get
people that
it.
even get less because they have, connection or one leg there and they're able to get, right? There's so many instances, right? So there's that. But I think for the private, well, I don't really know so much, but I know that if you're able to get what you need to get, you get in easily because the funds are there to provide for that.
Yeah.
So for the federal/public, right, it's a bit challenging, right? And even when you get the admission and it's not the course you want, right, they can push you to another course. Right, it happened to me. So I was going for mechanical engineering, right? I didn't meet the cutoff, right, so to say, right? So I was pushed to physics. Yeah. So, and I really thought about it. Do I want to stay like another year and write jump and all of that? I just said no, I'll do it, right? And since I had some borrowed courses from engineering, so it just made a lot of sense. So I did that 4 years, and thankfully I did that. Thankfully I did not wait, because if I had waited,
it have been worse.
It have been worse, coupled with all the COVID and everything. So I was really happy I did that and I finished. Right. So the first year was challenging because of what I said, community to school and everything, right? And going for classes where everywhere is filled up. So at the end of the day,
is that for like general courses where you have all those big halls, or is it for like? So
for first year you do general courses, right?
All true,
yes.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Courses. So it's by the time you enter 200 level, you start measuring to your specifics.
Wow, interesting.
So 200 level, my eyes opened. I had to get hostel. I mean, I will still get to that part because hostel alone in public/federal is
it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? So you see a formal room and you're seeing like 20 people inside.
A what?
A formal room. So a formal room can be like the size of this place. So a formal room just means like 2 bunks. Yeah. Right? 1 bunk and 1 bunk up and down. Right? And you're seeing like 11, 12 people inside or 20 people. Right? So I can come and say, I have like 3 squatters, this one. So we have this thing where we call the original bona fide. Then we now have the bona fide squatter. Then we now have the squatter's floater. Then we now have the floater's hanger. So
the floater's
hanger is the thing.
4 categories.
I'm telling you, right? So the bona fides are usually the owners of the bed,
of the
space, yeah. So you cannot have a squatter. So squatters sometimes may share with you or might just stay on the floor, right? And squatter might not have like a floater. So the floater can just, this night I'll stay here. Then the hanger is just, bros, can I just spend the night for this place? The next night you don't see me again. So it's crazy. So that's why, then if you now have like 8-man room, I seen like 30 people. Worst comes to worst, you see like 60-man room. I can imagine how many people are there. And I'm not even joking. So I think in my 3rd year or 4th year, I had, because getting hostel again is another problem. Right? You have to ballot like as if you are voting.
Serious problem.
So the bona fide members were actually like kings.
So balloting in the sense, it means that you are trying to get bed space as a student.
You could apply for hostel space and not get the hostel. So you have to lobby.
You have to lobby to get. So even if you apply,
don't you think this is why we are where we are? Because it's like from a young stage, because at that point that's when you're kind of like gaining your independence. So you're now learning that if you want things to be done, you have to tip this person, tip that person. I know it's not in all places, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah, so ideally it's not really good, right? Because it teaches the children or the pupils. But at the same time, it also gives you experience, right? And I say this with all sense of no offense, right?
No, I know you're trying to now sub. You're trying to sub.
No.
Private school.
It gives you a lot of experience because I've met firsthand private children, right, or students, right? I'm like, don't you know this? Don't you know this how they do it, right? Yeah. And so because you don't want them to like rob them of their money and just make somebody make a mess of them, you have to like show them and tell them, this is how they do it here. Because by the time they leave private schools and they are out there in the market, especially for a country like Nigeria as we are in, maybe other countries it can be a very different ballgame, but for a country that like Nigeria, right? Going to a public school or a federal school teaches you a lot of things. So you're able to see it firsthand and know
private school. Like if you know what you learn in a private school.
See, not even private. Do you know why I don't feel this talk of experience really flies for me? I know there's some things you can gain. Like hardship. But apart from that,
So the experience I'm saying,
wait. This is why things don't fly for me. There are people that are home, they already experience this kind of things, and they go to a private school, right? Because everybody's mentality for me is that when you go to a private school, your father has money, you have money, so you're not experiencing this. But to be honest, I know people personally that are home, they are seeing like real hard life. That experience they're talking about, they are gaining in it from home. So coming to school, there's no need for you to gain that more. I mean, you're suffering at home.
I feel
Why
like
do you need to come to gain it again?
I feel like for some people, it's just a case of glorifying suffering because I'm not saying that every public school you go to, you suffer, but there's like some things that you experience that isn't necessary. Like, is it because I go through this, I was put in this position, I had to do this, that now makes me a complete adult?
I think
I feel like these are the things we should be talking about, because it's not just about saying, oh, maybe you don't know how to open eye. When I say open eye, I mean like, confront people like you can go somewhere and then people will cheat you and all of that. There are things that even when you go through public school, you come out and you don't know.
Exactly.
Private, you mean private?
No. Yes, private, public, both
school.
ways.
It makes for a good story.
The public school generally just gives you the streets knowledge.
So what is it because of the people there? Or is it the system?
At the end of the day, in the public school, you get to meet different people from different
in the private school. I just wait. In the private school, is it only one type of person there?
No, it's just that it's more diverse, right? In the public school. So you get to meet at times children of the rich, the poor, the middle class.
Even in private schools, there's rich, poor, and middle class. It's just and extra rich.
You meet
the poorest of the poor.
The poorest of the poor.
You get to learn other people's culture. You get to learn how to relate and all that thing. So it's fun. At the end of
you see, I'm still not convinced.
For private school, right? It's more controlled.
It's more
there are rules that sometimes if you even go through these rules, you come out and you'll be a better total man.
Right now, there isn't much of a difference right now because the system has really eaten
it has
deep,
dropped.
Right? It has really dropped, right? So I think back then there used to be strict rules of how you do certain things. There are some schools that don't allow phones, allow certain gadgets for
okay, you want subsea.
I did not mention it. I did not mention it.
I think it's only one school in Nigeria, university, that doesn't allow phones.
Have you heard of my school? It's coming very soon. Don't worry. Some schools like that, they have the capacity to control certain things. Practical Unilag, for instance, now there are many things that you cannot control. Right? You cannot control somebody bullying you right at maybe a monkey village, or what do we call that itself? Monkey Island, right? A place like that in Unilag. You can be extorted.
You have an island.
So not an island, just like a walk path. They call it monkey something, I can't remember. Right? So they can extort you. They have obtained me before. Not like
how was it? Tell us. Do share.
So okay, it's a long time, right? And how much did they even ask? I didn't even have money then. These guys were just hungry. Right? You could tell that they were hungry. If I had money, I was like, let me just buy food for these guys.
People that want to.
It was 15 naira they took out of me because that was how much I had then. So cases like that, you see it a lot because the population is too much and there are so many people there. You don't know who you are meeting, who you are talking to, who you are. But in private, they're able to control certain things, right? They're able to know, oh, this is your parent. This is the person that brought it. This is the person that's vouching for you. But for university,
do they even have the records? Do they have the records?
You see people in school that are not even students of the school.
Yes.
So how do you control that kind of thing? Right? So it's a lot. There are a lot of dynamism. So what I said about experience and all of that is because not that it gives you experience, right? It just teaches you how things are being done in certain things, right? So that when you're out there, you've known that you've seen this before, right? But if you go to a private, of course, they still have their own things, right? They have their own wahala, right? And to also teach you some stuff, right? And you come out there, you know how to handle the situations. But for public, it's a different game entirely. So you can learn from both. But me personally, because I've seen, I have learned, and I've known.
You've conquered.
I've conquered, yes. I would not want to put my child there, right? So because I don't want my child to experience all of that again. Yeah.
So, how's your own experience, your own schooling experience?
My own schooling experience was, I would say it was nice, to be honest. If you know where I came from, some people might be surprised.
Where did you come from?
I went to a private school. So for me, the mindset for me initially was to go abroad and go to school. But I remember telling a friend that, okay, my mom just said I should do 1 year.
Oh, you you believe them.
So I was so enthusiastic now. Not like, okay, don't worry, I'm just going to spend 1 year. She just looked at me, she laughed.
Spend 1 year where in school?
If your parents ever do that, it's usually a scam. Just go and, they've done it so many times.
So 4 years. My mom told me that I would spend 1 year and I ended up graduating.
Yeah.
Wore green gown after 4 years. So after I'd already settled that, okay, I'm going to see her and everything, I remember my first service in school. And the trouser I wore, I didn't have any belt. Or it had like 3 holes and I didn't know how to adjust it. So my trouser was almost falling off. I was kind of late for, not falling off, but it was loose on my waist and my shirt and everything. So at that time, for service, we had like 2, it was segregated or separated. So 200 level at one side, 100 level at one side. So I didn't know that because I came late. So I entered the hall, I went to 200 level side because they were almost locking the doors. So I went there, I sat down, and that was the worst introduction to uni that I've ever experienced.
What happened?
Because I've met the wrongest set of human beings. So the pastor was preaching and everything now. 100 level, you guys should work hard. If you know you're going to get 5 points, say amen. So me shouting, amen. I 200 level. I 200 level says around there, just looking at me like, who is this one? So I'm shouting, amen.
JJC.
That's how one guy now looked back. I said, oh, why this one won't get 5 points? So I'm like, is that committing crime? It's not 5 points I want to get. And everything. And when they started to taunt me, during service. I marked their faces. Up till now, if I see you on the road, I would know your face.
Okay.
But I've forgiven you.
Forgive and forget.
So it taunted me. My watch was, they said, one of them stood up like...
Watch.
I can't remember one silver watch I wore like that. One of them was like, one guy, I like your Rolex. So. And he was wearing G-Shock. So I said, I like you. I said, so you want to get 5 points? I said, yes, now. And everything. So that thing motivated me. I was like, bro, they are mocking me. So from that day, from class, I'll go to library, go to hostel, go to library, blah, 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 blah.
So
did I get the 5 points? And I didn't get it. But I was pretty close, yeah. So that was my first introduction to that. And for me, most people would say that their experience was terrible or horrible. But for me, I think one thing that helped me in school, I know this is not time for sharing advice, but I'm talking about my experience. One thing that helped me was the fact that I joined the right community and everything. So in school, a lot of people usually get, what's the name of this form? Offense form and things like that. And the way the school is that you are not really looking for trouble sometimes. Trouble will find you.
Yeah.
So that happened to a lot of people. So I think being in the right community, so me knowing that, okay, I have to be here by this time based on my community, aligned with what the school was. So I think it was pretty interesting for me. I didn't really have issues like that. I met different kinds of people, some very terrible, some amazing people, and made friends and everything. So for me, I think the experience was nice. It was really controlled. So, which is something that I appreciated, or I appreciate. Since adulting, you have to, there's nothing like that. Your life is like...
I think many schools don't actually teach life coping skills. That's where many of us have issues.
There were some things, if they teach you, they'll use UK curriculum for Nigerian problem. So it was nice for me.
It's like, I feel like your story is, we enjoy it.
Why? Why do you feel
I don't know, because when Emmanuel was talking, I was like, yes, like, I can relate.
Well, for my story, I went to University of Jos. Great Josites.
Great.
So what they say?
I know a lot of uni Jos
All of you are
people.
copying that. It's not what everybody will say.
So University of Just, it's fun. Yeah, it's known for its structural um development and whatever. But then
Yeah.
before I got into that school, after secondary school, I had to stay some couple of years before getting admission into the university. And again, I didn't even get the course I was applying for. They pushed me to another department.
Bruh.
I was
So what
applying
did they give
medicine.
you?
They gave me SLT. I said, okay, let me manage.
What's your SLT?
Science lab tech. So initially when I got the admission, Lord knows, I didn't even want to read that course. I was not in the mood to read that course at all. But then I started trying to change my course from 100 level to 200 level to 300 level.
And you still had hope in 300 level.
I just wanted to do what I wanted. But then the Lord said, Grace, remain here. Remain here. I have something for you here, probably. So. But then I was staying off campus because I couldn't cope with the hostel life.
Why? Why?
Uh,
What was it
So it's
about
like
the
both of you
hostel?
had like opposites.
I had this thing for overcrowded rooms.
Phobia.
Phobia for overcrowded rooms. I don't like overcrowded spaces. Till date, I have that issue. It just makes me feel as if I'm in a confined container and there's no air to breathe.
Yeah.
So, and apart from that, I can't cope with dirty people.
Ew. Ew.
So,
Yeah, like when there are a lot of people, even if everybody
you can't
tries,
control what
Yeah.
the other does.
Yeah.
And the fact that maybe I might be down bunk and you'll be matching
Your bed.
my bed sheets.
Oh my God, that down bunk, up bunk.
That thing can piss me off. I can change it. I can turn from 0 to 100. It's just another thing. You know, I experienced it in secondary school. I went to a boarding house. So I don't want to go through that life.
Yeah.
I just love my space. You know, be comfortable. I do my thing at my time. My space is neat. I'm happy. In fact, when I'm in a clean space, I'm very happy. For no reason. I'm just happy. So for me, it was that. Then coping with lectures, 100 level was hell. Because first of all, it took me time to even know where my lecture halls were.
I have to agree. I'm like, how do you people know that this is the lecture hall? Like, how do you just? I remember, sorry, but I just remember that in 100 level when I come out, especially I know we had some general courses, so when you come out, just move where the masses are moving.
Everybody
If it
just
happens to
marching.
be wrong, then you now try and find your way, but just follow the masses. How did they know? Please go on.
It was crazy. Like, we had first semester, right? It was almost towards the end of first semester that I could tell you, okay, this lecture is holding in this place, this lecture is holding in that place, because of overcrowded classes, population. In fact, that's another story for another day, but that's fine. So 200 level, because I was not interested in my course, I now started doing something that let me feel, so that they will change my course. It's as if I'm passing too much.
Where did that come from?
I didn't actually change your course.
They didn't change it though. After all the struggle to change the course, when it got to, everybody had signed. When it got to my HOD, he said, I didn't know it was you they were talking about. I won't change this. I was like,
Why?
Why? Funny enough, I beefed that man for 1 year.
But why? Did he give a reason?
Reason in public school.
He said something tells him that I'll do better, I'll do great in this course. So why am I running? I was now beginning to give him silly excuses. I have issues with chemicals. I can't stand this. And he said, okay, the medicine you want to run to.
No.
So it was a lot, but at the end of the day, I just had to make up my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, just settle down and read. Because
So if you had the opportunity to do medicine now, would you do it?
no.
Bruh.
Funny enough, no.
The way life
Why?
changes.
Why? You're over that stage.
I'm over it. Because, okay, the truth is, from the beginning, I never even wanted to go to the public university. I wanted to go for NDA.
Okay.
Oh.
Funny enough, right? How life changes. The cycle.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the military environment. Hence, let me just continue.
Yeah.
I went to a military secondary school. Let's finish now. Become officers.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that military life, the vibe and everything.
Oh. Okay.
But now, if you ask me, do I want to do that? I don't think so.
But
Priorities change.
yeah.
So, because I don't think I want to be saluting somebody. Yes, sir. No, sir.
But see, that's the thing, right? I feel like a lot of times what separates public and private schools is actually rules, regulations, and how they are enforced.
Yeah.
And so if you're talking of military school, like private school can never reach quarter of what they are doing in military school. So I feel like it's also just a thing of structure. Like the school I went to, people are always like, oh my God, it's almost like a big deal if you graduate. But it's like, I know I'm here and it's only for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's 4 years. I'm certain that it's 4 years, nothing more.
No 4 plus X.
Not for the public university. Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure that it's 4 years. So like if for 4 years I just have to, what is it? I have to take permission to leave the school.
Yeah.
Where am I even going to? Because where is the school located, first of all? Then before I now want to reach Lagos, at what point now? Like it was just so stressful for me. So like all those things, maybe the person I am.
Yeah.
Some of all those things that people, is like, is it necessary? Is it necessary? I feel like, yes, so there are times that trouble can actually come knocking. But there are times that you walk into trouble.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes, right, it's like, it's not necessary. The rules are not that hard. It's not the end of life.
I saw after our first orientation in school, so all of us were moving out of the chapel and we were going to our hostels. People were just, because I mean, I've heard a lot of rules. Don't do this, don't do that. You have to be your tie, you have to do this, do that. You have to be your ID card and all those things. That's how I saw the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I saw this guy lamenting. You're just walking. I don't know if the person was even talking to was not even really listening to him. The guy, I want my parents. I told them whatever they see, they should take it. Because I told them I don't want to come to this school. I'm not coming to this school. Blah 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 blah. I was just laughing. So I didn't see his face after till I graduated. So I don't know what happened to him, But I think for a lot of people, based on their own lifestyle, like you said, like you based on your person, that's not really a big deal for you. Yeah. But for other people, it might be a big deal because they are holding them back from expressing themselves on things. True. I know someone that, not even just someone, but I know people that I really hated the school I went to. Why am I saying the school I went to? I went to Covenant University. So I know people that really hated Covenant. And I even know of one guy that was writing like his own experiences, bad experiences on the school. So two people can meet the same thing and have different impressions of the same thing. So that's just my own belief on it.
Yeah, and people have different experiences. So if like, it may have been so smooth for me, but somebody else that went through the same system, the way it would have, maybe what they faced with lecturers, with other students and all of that. But what about there are all these factors, the external factors, but the main reason why we're in school is to learn. So in terms of quality of the educational content, what do you think about it? Do you think that's in public or private? Do you think it just depends, or it depends on the lecturer? Or you think there's actually efforts being put into it both ways?
Let's start with the fact that Nigerian curriculum has issues. So we can continue.
Yes, but like that's aside.
Okay.
Yeah, like what do you think about it?
So I basically feel when it comes to do with lecturing and lecturer-student relationship, first of all, it has to do with the lecturer's efforts, right? There are some lecturers that they are good, whether they are in the private sector or the public sector, they can deliver to you. Like you get to understand them. They know how to carry students along. while there are some that, okay, I'm here for the money. Oh, my own is that when months end, they should shall pay
I'm
me
sure
salary.
paid.
Even the salary going
So
safe.
they will shall be. They will just come. In fact, they will just come and drop the handout and be going. It's none of their business. If you like, understand, don't understand. Is it the ones that will now tell you that they will now be giving you assignments for you to create notes for them? Yes, they do it. They will give you a topic and say, make a research on it. That's your handout. That's
Yeah, I
your
agree.
yeah,
Yes, I do.
that's your handout for the semester. That's what you read for exams. And they will look for questions from there and ask you. They don't scared. In fact, some of them don't even go through those assignments. It's just to fulfill all righteousness. That's okay. They actually gave you something. Oh. They came to class. Oh. Then we now have those lazy lecturers that don't now come when they are supposed to come to class. They'll now be fixing Saturday lectures. In fact,
I'm sure they have their jobs that
I
they are
would say
doing.
from 100
Exactly.
level to 500 level. I think my lecture days are Mondays to Saturdays. It became a norm because somebody will always fix lectures on Saturdays. Some people don't even mind fixing Sunday, but because it's
Sunday.
church. So if you say Sunday, we go protest.
You guys were Christians like that.
Apart from they were Muslims, but
So
it's not
It's
just
weekend
right.
now. If you
It's-
take
No,
our
it's not supposed to.
Saturday, leave our Sunday.
You took our Saturday, you cannot take Sunday. To a point that, at times you now have sometimes you have lectures from morning till 5 on Saturday. Why? Because we have different lecturers that are looking for how to fix their lectures so that they could cover.
So
Which is crazy.
For me, I don't think. Well, I don't know because I don't really know how it works in the private, right? Because I've served in a school. Right? This is a primary school now that even teachers are held accountable for what they do, for what they teach, how they teach, the content or the materials they use, right? Because there are times where I know in that school, sometimes where they employ or get not even just within the school premises now, but professional. There's a name they call it, right? That comes to check when the teacher is actually teaching. So you will not even be told when they will just come, right? So in that school, they've been told time and time again that when teaching, try to teach with illustrative videos, illustration videos rather. Play videos for the kids while you explain. You understand? So it makes them to assimilate more better. Right? Some teachers were not doing it, but when they noticed that, these people are around, see how they started getting. In fact, my own teacher told me, Emmanuel, go and get videos. And because every class had interactive boards where they could actually project. So that is one thing to look at, right? Aside, there's also the downside of the students, right, themselves, right? But also the teacher. So I don't know how it's done in private, whether they have people that account or are accountable, if the lecturers are accountable. But in a public, like she said, it's totally different. Nobody checks. Nobody is whatever they give you take.
Take.
There are lecturers that it's just one material. And if you don't buy the material, you're not entering this class.
I'm telling you.
They will not teach. There's one lecturer in particular.
There's always that one
There's
lecturer.
always a lecturer.
No, it doesn't write. It doesn't. It just comes, open the material and read verbatim. How do you read maths?
Does he wear
verbatim?
glasses?
Doesn't wear glasses. I don't want to mention the name, but he just reads verbatim. How do you read physics or theoretical physics like verbatim? So it's crazy, right? So you now have to, if you are not sticking to the brightest guys in class, right, to just learn one or two things, you're probably doing a lot of research on your own. And if you don't, you're carrying the crossover. So, but I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. So it falls on both ways. But I would suggest that if lecturers are being accounted for, right, they would know that this is actually a serious game.
Yeah.
Right? Because people's lives are in your hands. People's futures
lives-
are in your hands.
their
What
whole
if you
future.
Right? So-
But let me play like the devil's advocate here. So for the lecturers now, look at the fact that they are not paid well enough.
Even I
To
think
do some
that's
of
a
those
major
things.
issue with teachers, lecturers,
Yeah.
educators in general, both
Everybody has
in
their
private
different-
and public.
different
Yeah,
In
private
private and public, all of them, they are not paid well.
But
So-
In most places.
But there are situations whereby you see these lecturers working in 2 to 3 different schools. So at the end of the day, the students are the receiving end. You understand? At times, these lecturers, some of them are working in private universities. They now give all the attention all day because they know that they
are held
have
accountable.
They are held accountable for whatever they do. So you people here, you will now be suffering. You people in the public university, you'll be suffering, at the detriment of the salary he receives.
But I think that if you're more, I believe you'll be teaching the same course now. Like, will you be teaching 2 different courses in 2 different universities? It's possible.
It's the same course, but the manner of approach.
Curriculum
might be different.
But if you've made the curriculum, you've made it now. If you have the notes, you have it. You have the slides, you have it. So like, even if you put in the effort and the time to create one set, unless I feel like you can still, even if you may not be able to give your all, you still have quality materials.
Why do you think people have private lessons? So if every lecturer, right? I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying, if every lecturer can teach the way they would teach in the private lesson, I think many people will do well, because most of what you learn or know is from what you have been taught.
Yeah.
Right? Then the other ones are the ones you now personally go and learn and build on what you've learned.
And what about the fact that in public school, the ability to control the class is another factor. So like, if you have a crowd,
you expect the lecturer to.
Yeah.
So there are so many factors that
I feel like wherever you find yourself, I feel like there's a level of motivation that you need. Even when you have the best teacher, even when you have lesson teachers. I remember when I had lesson teachers, and then that was in primary school, and then we now went to write, I hate lesson. I hate my lesson teacher in our textbook. It was not funny. I got a good beating. I told my sister to do it, my younger sister to do it, but I got beaten.
This just reminded me of a time that some of my friends misbehaved in a class, and the lecturer told them to go and buy, I don't know if it's 80 Leaves book.
All right.
So I write on it, each line, I'll not do it again, mommy and daddy. and submit it. So I mean, so these things happen in
But there's a hack. There's a hack for that question you raised, right? When you have like so many people in one class, right? So especially when you know it's, because it's always the same course. For year 1 now, it's the same course. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
Maybe there are new
which should not be so
added to it and all of that. So what we now do is to go back to previous courses, go back to previous assessments that we taken and
questions.
just pass questions and practice over and over again.
Is this from the student side?
This is from the student side.
Exactly,
because
that's what I mean.
The end goal is that the student does pretty well.
That's what I mean. I feel like regardless of where you find yourself, regardless of the quality that you're getting, there's still the past. Even you can be in the class with the best lecturer. And you are daydreaming. You are not even there.
That don't even come to class at all.
You're not even in class.
And
then I think there's also an advantage that, I think some people are just smart. It's like, we attended the same lecture. We finished it. They gave us assessments. I got
a score.
10. I got a score. And you just aced it. And I saw you sleeping. You were sleeping. Me, I was taking notes.
Does in the night.
Nice,
That's it. So I think self-motivation is key. Let me just put that out there. As a student, wherever you find yourself. Because, you have a role to play. It's your education. If you like, play now.
So
they play.
I think for private school, the experience is, I'm not sure, but I think people actually come to check. If I can remember, within the school, check the lecturers or something. I think maybe they score them or something like that. So I don't know if this is for every private school, but I think in my school they did that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, the school, there are a lot of structures in place, even for the student parts, talk less of teachers. So I'm sure there are, maybe they might question a teacher if a lot of people are failing or things like that.
Yeah.
So I think they are traditions.
For the public, they do actually, because at the end of the day, when the results are being released, they send them to Senate. So if there's a massive failure, they'll ask, Or ask the HOD of the
Yeah, what
faculty or the
happened?
department. What's the problem?
Yeah.
It is for good.
But even at that, nothing is really done. They will not tell you, I got receipt.
Yes.
Do you know how much money they spent for printing it or doing this for
Seriously.
invigilating?
Okay,
No.
yeah.
You failed, you
yeah.
failed. Sorry. There was a time that there was mass failure. Hey,
Yeah.
they said go and write letter. Go and write letter. Go and write letter. I wrote letter.
Yeah.
It was in 300 level. I saw where they packed all the letters inside one trash. For 3 years, it was just there. I'm not joking. So
It's usually pointless writing that letter. If you just see that, I have a carryover in this course, just make up your mind that I will shall read for the course and pass it next time.
I think there was something
If you go, that letter you're writing is...
So you're writing a letter to appeal to
appeal
take
to
the
the
course.
person that is selling
Or to
akara.
appeal the result.
I think
Oh,
people
what-
could reappeal in school.
What if you just failed now? Like,
So
what
me, I
if
didn't
you
fail,
failed?
right?
No, there are
but
times.
I got a very terrible score that I was not expecting. I think it was either chemistry. And I wasn't so bad in chemistry. I was really good in chemistry. So I was wondering why.
Yeah, that
why
thing
that
happened to me too.
And they will not tell you.
A
they will
situation
not show
whereby you know
scripts,
a
marking
course
script now.
very well.
Oh.
You teach people your CA, you did well, and then you now come and see one kind of useless
no.
score. You will know that's
It wasn't well marked.
that
or
thing
there was
wasn't
a- there's
yours
a problem.
at all. So even at the end of the day, even if you complain, just go and rewrite.
I think
At
people
least
could
you've done your
rewrite.
part.
Just
I think
go
people
and
could
rewrite or
rewrite like a summer. I don't know if it's like a summer class or something, but or
Yeah, I
like a
know
summer
some
exam.
schools have
Some schools are
like Babcock. I know
Makeup.
Babcock has summer
Yeah.
school.
Babcock does. I have a
There's makeup now. There's makeup in
Makeup.
C or something. Like that.
Makeup,
That's-
makeup
Not-
depends. I know in
not
Covenant
really-
University, makeup
not really.
depends.
It's not free, right? Is it free? Do you just
I
come
actually
for
don't
summer
know.
and just take the course again?
Summer,
No,
no, summer you pay.
That's for
You pay
the that's
again.
for the
Yeah.
private university,
Yeah,
but
private.
Yeah.
for the public university, you write it with your juniors.
Can't relate.
They say we'll see you again. That's
Yeah,
what they tell you.
we'll see you again next
You've
year.
seen your
And I see
seniors
you
before, so
again.
we'll see you again.
So
They
that's
don't
why
mean-
you see some people end up having spillovers, yes, because they have to write those courses with their juniors, not
Yeah.
not-
Another
Because
downside of
it's summer-
public universities is that there are cases where you just see that results were not released.
yeah.
I have a current
on
case
time.
now, my friend. Okay, permit me to say the school is OAU. Right? Is OAU private or public? I think this is
Public.
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 or federal, one of them. Sure. They did not release their results. This guy now has so I won't say permanent, but he has a carryover, inevitable carryover. He just has it because of no released results.
Results, yeah.
Some people's results came out, but his did not. Why? No reason. And with other people like that. So in
So that's
private, it
That cannot happen.
Yeah,
When you're
that's-
paying
That
so
can,
much,
is either you
the
lose your
parents
job
can-
as a
Exactly.
lecturer or you
Yes.
come and explain what happened.
What's
Because
the-
why?
That's why
the
that's
other
where they will now
accountable?
tell
Nobody.
you your script was missing. It was a missing script.
or they've burned down bursary, or
Yes.
they've burned down results
Something
collection
happened.
center, something.
They
Something
burned down.
can happen.
I'm serious. Oh.
That your script got missing.
They will just tell you that you have carryover. God forbid.
Because
God forbid, for
that
real.
is scary.
That's why I said I would never.
But you know that thing actually even happened with Wayeko. Because I remember there were like 2 or 3 people. Like, how unfortunate can you be? That out of over 100 students, only your result did not come out. For
Are you
WAEC.
serious?
Yes, for WAEC.
And
So
that
like, these are things that can actually happen, but I think you can, WAEC, I think they were able to appeal, but I don't know, I did not follow up with the story.
Strong leg. If not, you're taking it. Just pray nothing goes wrong. As a result comes out.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
But it's such an unfair system because
yeah.
why am I suffering for your own ignorance or your own carelessness?
Okay, there's this thing that's okay. We always say when
Yeah.
after you finish writing your exams, you now pray for the lecturer. Lord, may nothing go wrong when this man is marking my script, and
He's
may
marking,
my
let him not be
scripts
angry.
be found, so that even if you fail,
know
you know
here
that
story.
at least I failed. That's why I have to rewrite this course, not the situation of missing script.
Like, this is still busting my head.
There's
I
some
don't
lecturers that will tell you that me and you in this school, you're not passing.
Yeah, you are not passing.
Okay, now that you said that, it just brings me to the question of
Harassment.
sex for grades. You know, a few years ago, there was a documentary that was released about different lecturers, you know, if you don't do this,
Yeah.
I'm not getting
you are
it.
here.
Yeah.
I just remembered one meme back. I see it.
You know, like, so all of those things, it happens. I don't believe is unique to private or public. I believe it happens
Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
everywhere. And I just don't know, like, it's such a crazy, it's so, like, how
Wow.
twisted can your mind be for you to say that somebody paid school fees, they came, so just because, oh, I like this girl, you have a wife at home, but you like this young girl
That might be your daughter's age.
that may be your daughter's age or even
yeah.
younger.
Oh, your younger
And then now,
sister.
like, you have to do this, you know, if you don't do this, your script is going to be missing. So I think the only difference is that maybe in private schools, there's like a way to go about it. There's like maybe a more structured system, because I know people that it has happened to in the public university, and it's just like, what can you do? Is it that you give in, or
Yeah.
who will you complain to?
They're helpless.
So for that one, right? So I think one of the beauty of public schools or federal schools is that they give allowance for student unions, right? So student union is a very, very big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So they have,
actually.
in some sense, right, a sense of voice, right?
Yeah.
So they can speak out to so many things like that. So if you're able to reach out to any of the SU reps, they can carry your matter for you and even reach as far as getting to Senate. And once it gets to Senate, trust me, they can call the guy for a panel meeting and then they can take it up. So in that light, right, trust me, I think to some extent a considerable amount of justice is being done for that, right? If you as the student now takes it up, but if you don't and you're just scared and you keep giving in for
I think it's easier said than done.
Yes, I know, because of the trauma,
the fear,
because of the PTSD
yeah.
and everything.
At the end of the day, when you find yourself in that situation, now, who do you talk to? Because at times you might even go and lodge your complaint. You put
You're
yourself
somebody
in
that
a
may even be a
deeper,
bigger predator than that one that
in
you
a
met.
deeper problem.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I almost experienced that. But me, it was my Baba God that eliminated the person for me. Yeah, I'm not happy that the person is dead. Rest in peace. But then,
During the period or later on?
during the period, can you imagine during the exam period, you know, for the public university, you have to always come with your original school fees receipt for the exams.
They call
And
it
then
docket.
this person seized my ID card because he asked me to come to his office and I didn't. Seized my ID card, seized my school fees receipt, seized my course form. And how do you expect me to write this exam, mister?
Oh.
And funny enough, I had a friend that works in the admin, and I went and I was like, hey, look at what happened. See what happened to me. The person now say, hey, this person that has record of molesting.
So why does he have a known record and he's still in the
nothing
system?
is done.
You know, there are some lecturers that they are just feared for. they are feared for their wickedness. And most times, nobody challenges them.
I think that's the problem.
Because I think they have one carcass amongst them. The wicked...
Or they are in good terms with the people at the top.
The wicked lecturers, they just have their... I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, God, how? So the person now said, okay, this is what will happen. I can help you print another school fees receipt. I said, okay. So now what happens to my ID card? Funny enough, I had to make another ID card. I just assumed
Is ID card a big deal in
that
public?
one
was lost.
It's
a big deal in private.
It's a
public,
big deal.
Making another ID card. Hell?
No, but like you having your ID card. Are you serious?
Yes.
Like if you lose it.
If you lose it.
Yeah, to break another one, to get another one. They won't even give you another. They give you
won't
temporary.
So the
when I
person
lost
had
my
to
ID
help
card.
me to get that temporary ID card. And then the course from that time, it was not even the printed type that we do now. You know, it was...
Every lecturer has to sign.
Yes, every lecturer had to sign. The guy said, just carry your photocopy. We'll see how to... But if every lecturer have to sign, this man has to also sign
So,
this new one. So I wrote, when next I was going to write exams, for the devil to even do it for me, the man was my invigilator.
Crazy.
Ah.
And he recognized you.
Yes, now. They know their praise. So I was just there and I was just say what was going through my mind was, Lord, please let this man not see me. Thank God it was a large class.
Definitely.
So what now happened is that I think they actually came in and was like, there are too many people in this hall. They just now cut from the front row before me and they took us to another hall. You needed to see if I could jump. I would have jumped in that. I was so happy. They changed my distance. So after the whole exams, he was looking for me, sending people to call me, what he would say is that, she forgot her ID card, she left her ID card, call her to come and pick it. Why won't you give the student to come and give me? I refused to go. So it now happened that's after the exams, that period of the holiday, they said the man died.
Bro,
it's not something that's okay. Normally, you shouldn't be happy that somebody died. Guess what? Me, I was happy. I thought I was the only one that was happy. There were a lot of people that were happy.
Wow.
There are people that he had already started sleeping with, that he keeps demanding from. So they were happy. I thought I was the only one in that boat. So imagine somebody going through that. So if you now have people that are not strong in the SUG, I'm sorry for you. Who do you run to? Nobody.
And those kind of things, once it starts, continues.
And I think I think these people have this association that, okay, if they sleep with these students, they gist about it. You not see another lecturer
because it's not like
disturb your life. It's now like a circle. Because yes, I've seen people in such situation and they've discussed about it. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Especially for female students. Hey, they suffer. But they are still good lecturers.
No, definitely.
They are still good lecturers. There are lecturers that at least they can protect you from the clutches of
such things, yeah.
Those mean ones.
If cases like that happen and you're unable to reach out to maybe the SUG or SU, right, or a friend that can help you. And so I know every school has like a security department. For Unilag now, we have what they call alphabets. That's just very close to the gate, right? So if nobody's answering you or taking your matter up, go there and report it. At least once somebody will have sense to.
The thing is that because these things are so sensitive,
they are very
right?
sensitive.
They are sensitive, and some of the people that there are even people that are in positions that's their work.
Yeah.
Like even outside of school, that's their work. But then you bring is like, so what did you wear? The same questions, like the same all these things with rape is the same thing. So that's why it's like there's almost a perception and almost a knowing, which sadly is mostly true, that if I am going, nobody is going to believe me. Everybody will question me. Like, what did I do? People will look for the fault. Okay, why did you go to see him alone? How is it your fault that a lecturer is calling you? A lecturer likes you because you are fine. Because you are a fine girl, you are now
or because
a victim.
You didn't create yourself now.
Thankfully, you did a very smart move not to go, right?
Honestly.
But always try to make sure that you settle it before anything happens, right? Because before the trauma and the whole thing comes in is when the deed has been done, right? So before the deed has been done, or if ever gets how it happens, right? Try to reach out. Try to reach out.
Yeah,
I think that is one of the things that people need to be taught, right?
Yeah.
Over and over again, rather from secondary school to the grow and everything. Because if they are not being taught, right? So that's why I still say the public school, right, would show you all of that.
Yeah.
You would see all of that firsthand. So you would know how to.
But even in private school.
Private school. Well, for me, your private school, I think it's it's more difficult because
It's more difficult, but it gets done.
it gets done.
Yeah.
It gets done. And then
done.
the sad part is that in private school, I think most times it's just that maybe you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe you actually were doing something that you shouldn't have been doing.
Yes.
And then somebody, there's one
You have a higher
story
bargaining chip.
that I know about this girl that went to a private school. And then, fortunately, they had gone to do something with another guy. And then the guy now, as the security caught them. And then when he did, it was not like a thing of bribery. What did he ask for? He could have asked for money.
Money,
He asked for what?
Him too, he wants to collect.
He wanted.
And she
He
gave.
wanted some. And then her studentship is precious. Maybe that was 300 or 400 level. And then it's like, okay, let me just, I beg, I've come too far to now go back, and there's a way out, a way out,
Pressure.
and then he now started, time after time.
Yeah, extorting her.
Eventually, she got pregnant. She tried to do a what? And what happened?
She lost her life.
Unfortunately.
Are you serious?
Unfortunately.
So it's crazy.
that's
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just if you've been in the wrong, right? Own up to it. Whatever happens, take it like that.
Is it easier said than
worse.
done? No. Easier said than done.
Because see, people don't really look at the futuristic or the end goal of the consequences that they do, right? Or what they do, right? So, but if you look at it and say, because nobody in the right frame of mind would say, this is what I want, and it will just end there. We will continue to request for it, right? Well, at that point,
Human needs are insatiable.
Yeah.
Economics 101.
Which economics? What do you know about economics?
And this way I'm an economics
I
student.
beg you, no. The
Economics
economics you did was
student.
bread and
the
butter.
matter is long, very long, but we'll just try to keep.
Yeah, like always, as much as possible, speak out. And even if you can't talk to anybody in school, like you can start from home. You can reach out to parents, friends. Yeah.
Before it gets
Help
worse.
out, yes.
But I pray that it's not a situation that I even want anybody to be in.
you
It's
really
so
want-
traumatizing.
It's traumatizing.
So
Seriously.
traumatizing.
That's
Ah,
You can't really control the people you see,
Yeah.
but you can
You
control
can.
what you can do.
Yes.
yeah.
Very important.
You can't control the people you see. You can control what you do.
Yeah, what you do.
Manual
And how
2024.
you how you
So,
react
how you
to
react
Man,
to
was
them.
saying things for
react
me.
to the situation.
But I think for those kind of things, like you said, people should know about these things.
Yeah.
So there should be real discussions about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you are coming for things like orientation and
Those are things that should actually be.
Yeah.
I don't even
Addressed.
remember
Yeah.
what we did in orientation. They are telling us about. I beg,
No, but
I
I
hate
this is
orientation.
very-
sha.
I promise I
Never
hated
went to-
orientation because it was just nasty. But I think there were times where we had meetings and they spoke about these kind of issues.
The
So-
numbers that they will put. This is the number to
Yes,
call if
call,
something like this
yeah.
happens. These
Yeah.
are this.
But
There are bodies that are designated for those kind of
For
things.
those things.
Right? It's not. It's known. It's
Okay.
just you have to know them.
they have
Yeah, I don't know that part.
I don't know. Sha, I don't
Do you mean on a general note or within the school?
within the school, and if there is none, they have to create one for it. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very important.
because for something that has been
Those
so
are very,
prevalent
very sensitive
in
things.
yes, for something that has been so prevalent in schools in Nigeria. I mean, we should have bodies for
There's
this
a
kind
whole
of thing.
documentary on it, and you don't
There's a
have
whole
a way as a school. You don't have a team for that. Do better.
Because I think some schools they just overlook it and they'll be like, I don't think this thing might happen. Not even they might just think, look at. I mean, if you go to a school, a private school, and there are certain values that you guys hold, you'd be like, no, that this thing can't really happen. So you're not really taking preventive measures to try to curb these things.
Yeah.
You know, this thing doesn't even just happen just in university. Even in secondary school and
Even
primary
in
school.
secondary schools too.
In secondary school, there was this issue, right, where it was like, I'm still not sure the full details, but it was a lecture, a teacher and a student. And then it was like everybody had noticed it, but then, there are just students that just are close to teachers, which I personally do not understand. I'm just not close. I don't see it. I don't see the need for that. But yeah, there are people that are just like that. And yeah, like people noticed it, and then only after some time was not like, they had been sending love letters. there was proof. There was the whole exchange. There was proof.
Bruh.
And then it now escalated. He was sacked, and it's just a messy situation, and it's just so unnecessary. In secondary school,
Everyone had one.
underage girls.
Bro, that's even very, very scary.
So I think I had a conversation with somebody,
Mm.
you know. This was somebody that was working in my secondary school.
Mm.
So the secondary school I went to, you see different kind of girls.
Mm.
The big, the fat, the slim, the shapy, the curvy, the busty, everything. So at the end of the day, as a young guy, at times, these students too, they have their own in their body. Let's be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be on your own, trouble will come and meet you as a teacher
Mm-hmm.
or as a staff.
Yeah.
Just because they want favority, like, yes,
I want 100 over 100.
they just want special treatment from other students.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not careful as a lecturer or a student or a teacher or a staff working, you fall into their traps.
Boundaries.
Yeah,
Boundaries.
healthy boundaries are needed.
Yeah.
You understand? Because that time, during night prep, you just see somebody, especially those SS2, SS3 students, you know those ones, and now
You know what they call it?
they feel
Teenage exuberance.
Yes.
Exuberance.
You just see somebody who starts catwalking in a funny manner. You understand? Trying to get a staff's attention or a soldier's attention or an officer.
The soldier's attention, that's wild. That's wild.
What is happening? You know, so it's just, I think self-discipline is something that people
And
should
boundaries.
learn.
Yeah, a female teacher, a male student is coming. You don't need people. Open the door. You are a male student, a male teacher, a female teacher, student is coming alone. Open the door. Let's open the
The door
door.
of your office, yeah?
Open door policy.
But I think there should be. So I know we're talking about student-teacher relationship or student-lecturer relationship. But how is now? And she just brought up that point that some girls could try to entice lecturers. So, and you mentioned boundaries. So how do you think lecturers can? I know I'm not lecturers, but I'm just trying to process it or reason it. How can you at one end try to build good relationships with students, and at another end try to curb these situations where you are faced with students trying to.
And she just mentioned
Just
one, open doors, right? So if, for instance, your students would have to come to your office, leave the door open. Right? So everybody says, so if she's going to misbehave, let her misbehave in front of everybody. There are offices, staff offices that are open. Like you have other tables. So instead of you having your own
private,
secret office, just you can stay in an open space so that everybody sees what's going on. Right? And in the class, I mean, everybody's there, so you still keep a very cordial and friendly relationship with them.
I'll still say boundaries, but boundaries look different for different people.
Yeah.
Right? So like there are lecturers that you know that you cannot try any type of nonsense. Like even from maybe like coming around them and you don't do your assignments or you cannot bring up some things around them. So I think I think it's just about setting and enforcing your boundaries. Like you know, they are okay, we are friends, we can talk about this, but there are certain things we don't even talk about. Like there are certain things that yes, okay, if you need counseling, yes, so you look at me this way, but please just go and see somebody else for this. So like, but even in your relationships with people, you know that okay, this is where this person is, this is where this person is. You know how
balance.
Trust me, it's not easy.
But it's the relationship. You're dealing with human beings, so it's not straight.
At the end of the day, I knew lecturers that will say, don't come to my office. Don't come to my office for anything. If you need anything, tell the class rep. The class rep relates to me. Come to my office. Why are you coming to my office? What are you even looking for in my office? You know? So those lecturers, you know that if you go there, you're in for it.
Yeah.
Somebody can just shout on you and say, get out.
Can't know, but there are some lecturers that are unnecessarily unnice. Why are you so angry? Am I the cause of your problems? No, there are some lecturers that were that way.
Yeah.
Like, and please smile a bit, loosen up.
And I don't even think it's them trying to prevent something. I think that's just how they were.
Yeah, that's just how they are.
Because even me personally, I need to see myself as somebody who would be friends with a lecturer or continue like after school, still have a relationship with lecturers.
Better have, you know, you need letter of recommendation when you want to
the only
jackpot.
lecturer friend I had was just my final year project supervisor.
Even me too.
I was never really friends. Like, what's my business with you? I beg. Let me do and get out. That was my
like people who always knew the lecturer or who could talk to the lecturer like as if they were just classmates or something. Used to be
like that.
like, bro, how?
For me, I could actually build that rapport with you, but at arm's length. I don't get if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I can be friends with you. Like, we are cool. We can discuss. So you can even tell me your life issues. But we know our boundaries. Make it no pass that place, ja. You understand?
Yeah.
Because if we are beginning to
sometimes it can escalate. Especially if it's a single lecturer, a single man lecturer.
Whether it's single or married or
no, but even single, I know.
But I wouldn't say I was even close to a lecturer per se. Like, very, very close. I was close.
Well, just one. I think.
Were you close to the lecturer?
Speaking terms, we're speaking terms. I was on speaking terms with some of my lecturers. Because there was one particularly, she was so nice, she was so pleasant. So it was just nice to have you. You know, you just go to her office and you just get one life advice that you just go and deep peace. I just like, wow. Wow, wisdom. So yeah, it's nice. Those type of people is nice. Like that. Yeah, they're always those ones.
I don't think they are.
So now let's talk about okay, yes, there are challenges, there are issues, there are advantages to going to public or private university. But like after graduation, is there a difference between a public school graduate and a private school graduate in terms of jobs, opportunities, the exposure that you get from school, the exposure that people are fighting about, the experience. So like, how does it all add up, like after school?
Okay, so me, yeah? All right. Okay, so because I'm thinking of so many things, right? So first off, let me come this way. So Nigerians, especially Nigeria as a country, we've evolved, right? So
we've evolved.
This is your answer.
No. Relax now. Let me answer. So the job space has evolved, right? Yeah. Evolved in the sense that there are certain jobs, or most jobs right now, do not even require your degree, first degree, or BSc, or whatever you earned, right, from school. Like, they want to know what you can do, right? They want to see your CV, they want to see your resume, what is your experience like in the workspace. So that is aside, that is one side, right? Then there are also perks that come from having a good grade, right? Finishing with first class, 5 point, whatever, right? Especially in the private. Because
are there really?
In the private, why I say private? Because so private, because it's private, so it comes with certain perks, right? So they're able to channel their resources, so to say, to organizations, to institutions that can cater for as many jobs for their children, for their students. Relax.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead.
Then for the public, it's not that they don't have that. They do. But
like which one? Just mention a few. To mention a few
institutions or the schools.
Yeah. That like the schools that
I will use Unilag, for instance. Unilag, they will tell you that come out with first class when the VC is handing you your thing. You see them.
Yeah, companies ready to recruit. Yeah, true.
Especially when your course is now in line with what they offer. Right? It's there. But for private, right, many of the times, right, because for public, even if you do really well, you might not have 5 points, but you can have first class 4.5, or you can have like a very strong 2-1. Right? But because of so many students having that, they cannot cater for everybody. But for private, they can actually.
Can they?
No, bro.
I want to disagree.
I disagree.
Okay, but to some extent, they can. because there are resources available.
Like you said, maybe things have evolved.
Because
nobody offered me job.
I've never seen anybody.
The job they offered me was in their own radio station.
That is why I said what I said first. Right now, I'm just using this to water the ground so that you understand that there are still some bodies that still offer that. Now, back to what I said first, right? Which is people don't really look for your degree anymore. That is why when you are being, I think I mentioned about life coping skills, how to, cope and after school, what happens after school, really.
Yeah.
So if you have been taught a skill, to get a skill, grow your skill, and all of that, you're able to cater for yourself even while you're out of school, not waiting for a job. Because trust me, there are jobs. Don't let anybody tell you there are no jobs.
Honestly, don't let anybody lie to you.
They say our jobs are finished. A has taken the job. No, they are jobs, right? But even at that, they're looking for specifics, and your degree will not answer that. Right? So it's your skill that will. So that is how I see it.
Okay, I just want to point out one thing from what
not just tech jobs, no.
Okay, just to point out one thing that I know people have always on Twitter, they have always said this thing. It has come and to trend and die down trend about they say that a first class in a private school,
bro, thank you so much.
Is equivalent to a 2-1, like probably not even a high 2-1, a low 2-1 or 2-2 in a public school.
Okay, so should I address that?
Yes.
I want to hear from both of you what you think, because I seriously disagree with that. Do you know the sweat and blood that I used to finish my project, to do the things that we were doing in school?
So this is it, right? So there are two sides of hurts from this side, right? So there's the hurt side where especially the ones from the public, because they know what they suffered, right? You cannot compare the convenience of private to public. Is not comparable, right? So there are certain factors or perks that you will get when you are private, and in public you will not get.
So external factors.
Internal factors in the school, not external.
No, I mean like outside of the person. Outside of
outside of the person, right? So let me just give a practical instance now. You can go to a reading center or a library and it's choked up. You need a place to study. You cannot read in your hostel because it's choked up with so many students. Right? You cannot read in the class because even after class is over, there are so many students lobbying around. But in a private, you're able to get maybe a good place to study. There's no disturbance because there are strict restrictions that you have to follow.
That's true.
So, and it is there. And mind you, again, the whole teaching and everything, right? Curriculum and all, it can be much better in the private than the public, because public is crowded, right, in the class. So what you would get in the private would be some percentage better than what you get in the public. That person is coming from the hot side. That's still all the thing I have to put through to even get my first class or get this. And these ones just come, do what they need to do. There's no strike. There's nothing. They just do.
Which is how it's supposed to be.
So whose fault is it?
So really, it is none of them's fault.
Nobody's fault. It's just
the
life.
fault of the institution.
And you have
not
to
life. No, not life.
Give you lemons. You make lemonade.
Yeah, what you have now?
No, not life. Because if they had the resources to go to a private, they will.
Not everybody.
Not everybody has that.
Not everybody.
So,
not even having that. Like, not everybody will. If they had the money, would still go to a private.
There are people that are like, why will I go to when I can be going to parties every night? Like, why will I go and lock myself up in a private school?
Because if parties is what they are thinking, is a lost priority. Because if you say you want to go to a public school, I'm serious.
Partying. You guys.
You have. I know. I told you. Is another thing.
It's another thing.
One thing I envy, and I'll still say it here, right? Without offense, right? I envy private schools because they don't know how much they have when they strike. Because you guys would continue like as if nothing is happening. Maybe unpaid salaries from public teachers, but you guys will continue like nothing is happening. But people are suffering. Students are out of school. There's nothing happening. 1 year, 2 years are just been.
It's just like now there are two people. One is rich, right? He had to work for 10 years before he now finally hits gold, and now he's making money.
That's why I said this.
And the rich person now that his father was just the king and then had so much wealth and passed it down to him. It's not like discrediting this person's wealth because they did not necessarily have to work for it. When you had to work so many years.
That's the
Like
issue.
I feel with you,
from
and
the
I
person's fault.
empathize with you. I empathize with you, but
from
it's
the person's-
nobody's fault. It's just life.
It's from the person's
like,
experience.
Yeah,
that the
it's
person
from and it's
feels-
valid. Your experience is valid. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm not
It's
invalidating
the
your
person's
feelings.
fault. If the person
Yeah.
is schooled in a private, the person will
But
have
it
understand
doesn't mean
that.
that you should come up to me and tell me that my grade, what I graduated with, is less than because I got good teaching, because I had access to my lecturers, because I did not school in a place where the auditorium was crowded. It's not right
Nobody's
now.
fault now,
It's
'cause
not,
it's really
It's
annoying.
not my fault.
It's the person's fault. Like it's the person's heart.
It's the
right?
person's heart. Yes, I
Right?
understand.
And then I wanted to say something now. It just skipped my mind. But yeah, aside the person's heart, right? Again, it's still well, it says a lot about
the person just feels I have to learn
I
extra.
had to do so
Do you
much.
understand?
you have to do
Just
so much.
to
The
to
people.
stay. And for the public university, we have some kind of terrible marking schemes like -half, -1,
Hey, I remember what I was going to say.
minus.
Mm-hmm.
So at times you're even owing the lecturer some marks.
Yeah, I don't like
So-
how
so this is
now.
what
Do
I
you
wanted to say,
understand?
right?
So imagine somebody that is not going through all that minus marking scheme. The
I
person,
think
of
we- I
course,
think-
will
There
do
are some teachers who say,
do- much more better than.
But I think
you
even in
guys
private university, I know that
going through.
has
Yeah.
happened a
Through
couple of
that.
times.
I know what
they'll
you're
say
So-
Yeah.
90 is for me,
Yeah.
80 is for you.
Yes.
So now what I was going to say is that some schools, right,
Mm.
have different marking or grading system.
Yes.
When she mentioned that, I just
Mhm.
looked it up.
Okay.
For instance, I know for Babcock, their A starts from like 80 or 90,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. Unilag, for instance, A starts from 70.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, would you compare 70 to 80? Well, ideally speaking, I don't know. Right? But
Yeah.
logically speaking, no. 70 is lesser,
Yeah.
is less than 80,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But
That's a fair point. If you
That's-
bring that to argue, maybe I can listen to
yes,
you.
but on the scale of things, is it possible that they are the same? It might be, because the way they might set questions or
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
the class was delivered or was taught,
Yeah.
right, will be different
Nah,
from
yeah.
the way. So
Yes.
That
70 can
70
be
is fair,
very,
while
very-
the 80 is fair
It's
in
fair
the other
for
place.
that.
True.
Yeah.
You get, so that is where I think they should compare now, not even, oh, this is one is this
Yeah.
one, that one hand. So
Yeah.
if you compare, so 70, I know 70 in like is A, 80
Yeah.
in Babcock or 90 is A like that. So just
Thank
like
you
that.
very much for that point.
Yeah.
It's a considerable point.
Considerable point.
Considerable.
I just think it comes, obviously, like you said, it comes from a place of heart. And people saying that thing really annoys me. Like, because you've
It
said
annoys me. It annoys
we still
me.
go through our own thing.
Yeah,
and
like there are the thing that people are saying, the reason why you cannot go to private school, that me, I went there and I passed through some things and I experienced some things, then you now come and say all of that is nonsense just because
you went through hardship.
please,
It doesn't fly
please,
now.
Oh.
No,
Because the
it
main thing you're looking at is education and how well you know about what you've been taught.
At the
and
end of the
everything.
day, what
that's the
have
main
you
thing.
learned?
It's not hardship plus education. It's just
You see,
education.
that's just the thing, just this
If you're in a
glorification
good
of
environment, you're
suffering.
exposed to many things and there are plausible things that you can get from
But it's
being in
like-
a good
Yes,
environment.
yes.
True, but when you're saying that since you didn't go through hardship and this thing, your score is less than mine or less than somebody that's even less than mine, that's now a big problem because you're not adding your own factors for what makes a good grade or for what makes a good graduate. Normally, it's supposed to be if your school is well accredited, that means they're up to standard, and you go there as a student, you get your good mark, you get your good grades. That should be all now. But you are coming from a place where you actually suffered you had to go through hardship and things. You had to run from hostel to this place like that. You're experiencing that, plus your lecturer being the devil after your life and things like that. So go on.
Okay, so there's something I wanted to say, right? In terms of still on the marking scheme, right? So I know for Unilag, they will tell you that there is CA.
Yeah.
So like maybe CA can comprise of certain assignments and tests before you have the final exam.
Yeah.
Right. So for maybe private universities, I know they're actually strict with that. So that this is CA. Maybe it's 20% of 100. So if you fail it, you've lost 20. Then you're preparing for maybe one assignment that's like 10%. If you fail it, you've lost 10%. Then the rest is 70.
Yeah. Then that's how it was, 30%.
But in public, they can tell you that one though. But it might not really happen like that.
So your exam is your 100%.
It can be 100.
It can be 100.
A lecturer can come and say, oh, your TA is like 50 or 40. They don't really follow. You can't really know which one is.
You don't even know
you
which
don't
one
know.
is.
They just tell you, but you don't know.
You don't know which one is.
It can be attendance that they'll just say,
yes,
oh,
this attendance will cover for TA.
So there's so many unknown factors that can just happen. That's why I just try. That's why you see people that come to class
from
beginning to the end and still fail. And people don't even come to class at all. And you don't write the exam. I am not joking. Right? I've seen it firsthand. I'm not even joking. And then they just come for the maybe test or for the exam and they're getting everything.
On my report too.
That is
who and to start from where?
I was like, I don't attend JST classes because
private schools, I know
at
they
the end
account
of
for
the day,
attendance, and if you miss some certain level of attendance, you miss some points.
If you miss chapel.
Covenant University is strict on that.
Come to class and you get your 100.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's still nice, but I think
it's crazy.
The environment and everything. And there's even this thing where people are able to tell who went to a public school or who went to a private school. So obviously they say things like, even when we're in school, that Covenant University graduates are the best graduates or most employable graduates, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and
that too was a trend on Twitter, and actually employers actually came out to say that and testify to that. It doesn't mean that all of them are, because they are the ones that say I saw shaking with these 3 graduates. So it depends. True. But like going back to the talking about jobs, I think that when you know. But there's just, I feel like in some places, there's just a bias and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I can have a company, right? And we pay very well. And I just feel like I only want to hire public school students because maybe I feel like they will have this or that. And maybe I want private because like private school now.
You genuinely want to employ public. Generally speaking,
that's an example.
It's your company, I know, but generally speaking, would you?
I don't think it would be a factor I'll look out for.
Why?
Me.
Okay.
I want to see what are your qualifications. What can you aside your what is on CV? What can you do?
Not necessarily from public.
No, but some people.
No, but I think
there are some people that's what they are looking for. Like even there was somebody I was talking to, like a networking event that I went for, and then she's like, she's only looking for
public.
No, private. And it was even from CU.
Yes.
I've
so there are people that are looking from from definitely.
No, should I tell you why some of those, I won't say like it's really valid. Let me say
I'm not mistaken though. Don't mistake me. Their points are valid for wanting to get private system, and they can give you like a lot of reasons why. Because if for a certain period of time you can do a certain amount of or series of tasks, you're able to come up with a particular grade. That means I can trust you with my company's rules or company stats. Right?
And even certifications. By the time I was graduating, I was student member from how many? All like the top agencies that are related to my field. I did mass communication, NIPR, Abcon, I think they've changed their name now to Adcon, the one for advertising, the body for advertising. Like some of those things, we had industry professionals come to meet us. The places that even during our IT, we had we had that experience. What we were doing for CA, our CA that was 30 marks, what we were doing is what media agencies are doing. What they are going 9 to 5 to do, that's what we're doing for 30 marks. So like some of these things, like it doesn't mean that public lecturer may not be able to do that because maybe they don't have the time. Like, how do you want to grade 3,000 videos? Like, how do you want to do it? So sometimes it's not even because they don't want to. I feel like
at times they just
can't.
Grouping you guys, and then you now have lazy people in the group.
They say group yourself.
Oh my God, I hated group. I hated group assignments. Jesus.
Well, back to like what I was saying about like employers. Sometimes employers have experiences with graduates from these schools. And if I'm an employer now and I've employed people from this certain institution, and I see that they're actually doing well. Because that's what most of them tend to say, that, okay, this is how these guys are performing. And I don't even know how, but me personally, when I go out, so let me even give this example. When I went to NYC camp, and I was registering. And I just spoke with my platoon officer.
Oh my God, yes, in NYSC.
The woman just said, "You went to a private school." I said, "Ma, how do you know?" She even went ahead to guess that I went to Covenant University.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I went to the school, so I passed through it, so I don't really know how people will perceive me. But deep down, I feel that there's a way the quality rubs off. I mean, if you go to a school where alumni are coming back and they are doing so well, that happens and people are getting inspired to want to do well. You go for programs in the school and they're telling you, okay, you can do this, you can do that. I think those things end up passing through students and it ends up rubbing on students. And that's why
the opportunities that you have when you are passing through school.
So I think I can't speak for all private schools, but I can say like for my school, we had certain experiences that inspired people to do better. So I think that might even be a contributing factor to why.
Yeah, I think Afe had that too.
Afe had that.
Yeah.
So I can say that, but public school, I don't know if that was a thing.
It's a thing for public school too. Because I just feel like there are places you enter when you just say, I'm a Josite. Because the fact that you are coming out from that school, I think Josite just have a way of holding you more.
Yeah, actually, my mom went to University of Jos and I don't know, they seem to have a very strong community. Like,
are you sure?
My school,
there's this thing that Josite, you should be doing well. You understand? So it's the same thing like with my alumni, my secondary school alumni. Like when you just say I'm an ex-commando, you just get that.
I love it.
Like that thing. Some people might not like the fact that I finished from UJ, but the fact that I'm an ex-commando, they know that discipline is there. Just give it to her. Do you understand? So I've just had that favors, like for being a Josite and being an ex-commando.
Yeah, I think those are some of the benefits of alumni bodies.
Yeah.
Even though me now, my secondary school, I don't know where we know ourselves, some of us, but there's no this. But my mom, her school, her secondary school and university, they are very, very active.
That thing's busting my head.
The university, the one we managed to have is just maybe one job that will come and drop or something.
That's what you drop audio marking.
I don't know why.
They drop jobs. Mine is quiet, or just there.
Oh, really? So is that like a new thing, or we don't value the alumni bodies?
2018, class of 2016, class of 20. Who did now?
Yeah, to do that stuff.
So just to keep in touch.
What is keeping in touch, man?
Okay. So you guys, from all that we've said, even though I feel like this discussion is not complete, there are some areas maybe we've not touched, but our time for today, for this episode, is coming to an end. So with all that we've said, if you know somebody that, is writing WAEC, is writing JAM, and they're asking you, Uncle Ope, should I go to a private university or public university? What would you say?
Private, straight up.
I'm very relaxed.
No, because I'm saying this because in secondary school, we always used to have this discussion or argument. And like a lot of people wanted to go to public schools, which was really surprising for me. So it's not that I don't rate public school, maybe not too much. But for people, most public schools, excuse me, but a lot of people wanted to go to public schools and everything. And they were always like they're very aggressive. Like, how you want to go to a private school, blah, 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 blah. But any advice I'll give you, if you're writing WAEC, just go to a private school. If you have the money to go to a private school, because the maths is very simple. 4 equals to 4. Go to a public school. 4 plus X equals to
4 plus X equals to X, because you just don't know.
That's a straight bullet.
So now I'm just saying, so 4 plus X equals to Y. So that's the thing. So public school, then depending on the school you want to go to.
Yeah.
Public schools also have quality.
Yeah, like University of Ibadan has been, top. Covenant University and University of Ibadan, I think they've been dragging for that first.
Yeah. But if you want a place where you can just come and like you're focusing on your studies and everything, go to a private school. Go to CU. I'm just saying. Well, if you don't want that and you want to live your life freely, it depends on the person actually. So if you want a place where you're not caged, I won't use that word.
Choose a side. It's like, which side are you really on?
No, because for real, we are really like tamed.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to a place where you're free, you can go to wherever you want to go, and nobody's really checking, then fine. But if you feel that at this point
Your
of my
butts
life,
are too many.
at this point of my life, if I don't take control, God knows what will happen to me. Yeah, then you can go to see you. They'll hold you down.
Grace, you look like you want to go next.
For me, I would say it depends on your resources.
Yeah.
Right? So for someone that has the resources to afford a private university, why not go for it?
Private schools are expensive.
So, but for the public universities, it also has its advantage, right?
Cough.
Apart from the fact that it's more affordable, you understand?
Yeah.
And some of the public universities have research structures on ground that the private universities don't have.
Yeah.
You know, they are known for it. Like, for instance, I'll say UniJust is known for the biggest library in Nigeria. It has the modern, the structure of its library is talked about everywhere.
Okay.
It's big, it's spacious. You know, before we used to have a small library, but right now is if you see University of Just Library, you feel sleep there. But then
world class.
but it's world class.
Like
It's world class. Do you understand? So you have some research centers that you will not see in the private universities. Yeah. But apart from that, the stress you go through, it grooms you. You know, it grooms you to take
an experience.
to take the stress of life, you know, when it's thrown at you. So yeah.
No, you don't need that grooming.
Sometimes why not? Sometimes some people need that stress, to help them shape their life. So
Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay, so it really boils down to the student and the family of the students, right? The parents of the student, right? And also the course the student is taking. Because I know that some private schools don't have all courses, right?
Yes.
While some public has some of those courses. So for instance, medicine now that everybody's going in for. Some schools don't have medicine, right? But you can go to public school where you would see.
Okay, what happened? What happened?
When I mean just having medicine,
like
going to a school where you know that when you apply, the chances of getting it is okay. Right? Not you get to a school and even when you meet the merit, it's still very shaky because of catchment area, because of one thing or the other, right? So public school has that advantage, right? But then again, I would also say that if you have the resources, like Chris said, please, why not go for private, right?
If not, why not?
Go for private, right? If the parents can afford it, because I don't expect the child to pay for it, right? So it's one of the due diligence of the parents. So if they can afford it, then please, by all means, pay for it and let your child have the best time of their schooling, education, and all of that. But if they don't, right, try to look for the school that would have less strikes, right? Because I know there are some schools, federal, not public,
actually,
federal, even where they have strikes,
they don't really
they have
go
classes still go on. So there are schools like that. So look out for those schools. Look out for how their facilities and their structures, right? And try to put your child there, right? So there was something somebody said, but I don't know, right? So I'll just say it. So the person said, so the person did not have, the person had parents, but the parents could not afford even the fees for the public school. You know, right now, fees are... We didn't even talk about that.
Almost tripled.
So fees, exactly. So I think for private, it's still the same. I don't know if you also tripled. So I'm not sure.
Please now.
And I won't go there, right? So, but I know for the public and federal, they increase. So you're paying as high as I think my school fee was 20K right then, but now it's increased to it's now about 300K. Right? I'm not joking.
Do you know actually it was like 150 now?
Exactly. No, so they have different. For universities, from universities, and then for like medical, for medicine,
definitely higher.
Especially new entry, you're paying 300. For returning, you're paying like 200. I know how my
That's
siblings have
crazy.
to,
Do you know?
right? So all of that you need to take into consideration. So the person said this, right? Since the parents could not afford it, so why stress yourself to go to school immediately? Go and learn a skill, do a job for 1 year and see how far that gets you. So the person did it like creatively and was able to fend for himself and also, was able to take care of himself and put himself in school and paid for his school fees.
Yeah.
Right. So if you as a parent can allow your child do that, why not? You can. If you cannot and you have the resources, put them in private. If you don't, look for a good public and put them. So
That's very
just to add that when you say just add that when you say if you want to allow your child do that, it doesn't mean that you will not be on their matter every day that they've not gone to university. You allow them do their thing.
So just to add to what he said, like if you're studying a course like medicine or pharmacy in public universities, we are sure that the lecturers you are meeting there, they are well experienced lecturers in those fields, because most of them, they also work in the teaching hospitals and other sectors. You understand? So you're sure that this lecturer is experienced, not like straight bullets. Not like private university.
I want to ask the question, why is it that private universities don't have?
Are you trying to say C? Because I know that Babcock has. I think Affair has as well.
Yeah,
I think it's C. Governance. They don't have medicine. They don't have law.
Babcock has.
Babcock has.
Yeah.
CU has.
No, C does not have law or medicine.
Why is that?
I think you can email the management.
Because if they do, right, you just tops it off for CU, to be honest. As a suggestion.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true. But that would
be crazily expensive. Oh my God.
So for me, if you want to hear what I have to say, private or public, I think it depends, right? And don't limit yourself. Because I feel like if you want to go to a private university, you want to be sure of, you don't want any uncertainties. You want to be sure, I'm doing 4 years for 4 years, 5 years for 5 years, no strike, no, just that controlled environment. There are scholarships that are available. So you can look out for scholarships. Some schools actually provide scholarships, especially if you have a good result, and sometimes even financial aid, simply, get the money so they can, help you with that. So I think it depends, but my first choice, I would say, if you can do private, do private. There are different private schools, so you don't have to go for the very strict ones. You can go, there are some that are kind of public private. You know what you're looking for. So there are options. We have options. So just choose what is best for you, right? So
we know what's best.
Thank you.
We know what's best.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. It's been a wonderful conversation. I hope you all had a wonderful time here, because we did. And we hope you did. So let us know what you think. Private universities or public universities? What do you think? What do you have to say? And what else would you like us to talk about? Remember to share, comment, turn on post notifications, and subscribe. Be the first to know when we have any new video. And we can't wait to see you next week, same place. Bye.